eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Hello, everyone. Her ears popped up straight away. You can't even see her. Yep, there she is. And she's here, ready for her last show for now, just temporarily. And she's already looking like she's a little bit upset about it. You know what? Let's start this show with a snack, and you guys can all say hello, Suki. Yep, it is Suki's last show today. She is going to her little staycation a little bit later on. And if you guys haven't seen what's going on with that, I uploaded a video on my other channel, which should be linked down below. But I might just show maybe just like the first little montage intro for that at the end of this one today. So you can go and check that out. But it's Weird Week, which is the flagship show of the channel. This is basically the very first concept of this entire channel was Weird Week, was basically just collecting all the weird shit that has been going on lately and talking about it at the end of the week. And if any week has been weird, at least on a personal level, it's been this one, okay? I'm really hoping we can get through this stream without any drama, without getting kicked off the air. I'm hoping we can just have a nice, fun time together without anyone getting really emotional or upset or attacking anybody, okay? That would be really nice if we could just do that. I would like that. So, and you know what? Actually, that's probably a good place to start because there are people in the chat talking about James. Look, we may actually touch on James in this video. Just quickly, I know that's probably going to upset some people, but there is something I do just want to talk about. But I think we should start with the fact that I don't know if it's just me and like what's been going on in my life, but is it a coincidence that it just feels like everything is really intense right now? And I don't just mean with me, like, and my YouTube stuff. Like the YouTube stuff has been kind of intense this last week or so, but just life in general. Obviously, I feel like there's a lot of people around me are having like big shifts in their life, big changes. And I know that there was recently these like these coronal mass ejections from the sun, which is meant to, you know, send like energy towards the earth. Look, I'm not smart enough to understand that kind of stuff. I don't really know how that actually affects us, but it would make sense as an answer to like how I'm feeling, and it just feels like everyone I know, not everyone, but so many people close to me have had some form of like significant shift in their life that they're about to have, or they've just had, or they're going through. And it just feels like things are changing a lot, like everywhere really quickly. And I don't really know how to explain it properly other than like you can just feel this intense kind of energy with everything. Everything feels very amplified. And I just want it to chill, please, for a day. That would be nice. Heather says, not me, I'm boring. Well, you know, I wouldn't mind being a bit boring, to be honest, right now. After the James thing and everything that's happened this week, I'm hoping for just a nice, normal, weird week where everyone's happy and we just have a good time together. Yeah, I see a lot of people in the chat do feel the same way. Yeah, and you know, there are things happening in my life, not just the move. I mean, that has been one thing, right? Getting ready to go overseas long term is a lot. Like you got to sell all your shit, which is obviously demanding time-wise and like organizing, but it's also like a mental capacity that it takes up as well. Like you're trying to organize, it's like mildly kind of stressful. You're trying to keep working at the same time, trying to organize your dog, you know, trying to keep the shows rolling. It's a lot. It's been a lot. And this whole kind of, you know, last 2 months or whatever, my mantra has been, bro, just all you got to do is just make it to the goddamn plane. You just got to make it to the plane, man. And we're not far away now. We're about 7 days out from the plane. So we're nearly there. 7 days to go. This Thursday in Australia, Wednesday night in America, we're going to be doing our 100K stream, which will be the last stream ever in this room. So it's going to kind of be the end of a chapter. And there might be a random rogue stream. I don't know. It might even go from my phone in between then and when I move. But no promises. I'm just going to kind of take it how it comes. And when I get to Bali, I think I do want to kind of just settle in for a few days, relax, unwind, and then we'll get back to a regular schedule early December. Your room looks put together still? Yep. That's because that's all you can see on camera. That's all you can see on camera. Tuk stream? I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I'll try and see if I can hire a tuk-tuk and be a tuk-tuk driver for a night and take you guys with me. That would actually probably be a great video, to be honest. Yeah, look, outside the edge of this camera frame, there's not a lot going on. As you can see, I mean, look down at Suki, look at the rest of the room. you kind of get the idea. Street food stream, there'll be plenty of that. Or there will at least be lots of street food being sampled on the channel. So I guess let's sort of move into it. I think, part of this whole energy shift and things feeling very amplified was the fact that, people were getting wound up with the age of disclosure thing. And obviously I made a video about that, touching on it. We're not going to spend too much time on it. But apparently a lot of people that, don't know what a watch along is, right? Or a pregame. Both were in the title. Neither point actually towards watching the actual documentary on a live stream on YouTube. But people were very upset about it. Matt Ford nearly had an aneurysm and put himself in hospital before the stream even started. The poor guy. Shout out to him. And, a lot of people in the comments were saying that this thing was actually a really good documentary. And look, I will agree. It was well put together. Like, I don't doubt that at all. It was well put together. But it's the price point that doesn't make sense to me, because this thing is so well put together and it's got lots of compelling people. But the target audience, if you're trying to get the truth out, the target audience think this is a hoax. The target audience think this is all just like for crazy people. So why would they spend $40 just to watch that? Right? It's the people who already know what's in it that are spending $40 to watch it, and they all feel like they got ripped off because they all probably watch UAP Gerb, Jesse Michels, blah, 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 and they already knew everything that was in it. So it was kind of like, I don't know what the point was, but sure, you do you. Let's go over here. I did get an interesting comment from someone that said, Josh, that's not the point of it. The point was to get it media attention, okay? Get it mainstream attention so people start talking about it in like senators and, people in the government and news outlets and things like that. And I was like, okay, did a little Google, and they're right. It is in every, not every, but it's in all of the big news outlets are talking about it. That's a good thing. That is a good thing. My question is, why isn't that happening when we have congressional hearings? Why does it take a movie from the entertainment industry? Okay, this is where entertainment is meant to go, okay? Why does it take something in the entertainment industry to make waves in the news? Shouldn't things that are like congressional hearings, people testifying under oath, shouldn't these things be a bit more significant to people and make the news? And they're free. They're free, by the way. You don't have to pay for them. So it's in the news that this documentary is so amazing and interesting, which is going to make people then spend $40 to go and watch it. Whereas basically this whole thing has been free in congressional hearings and the news doesn't talk about it. Make it make sense, please. So, like literally someone please make it make sense, because I don't like being pessimistic, but I also don't like to just gaslight myself either. Like I'm just calling it how it is, and it just seems retarded to me. I'm sorry. Toxic Fart says, a small contribution from my cousin, 4 times removed, wet fart, to Suki's room and board in honor of the Millennium Falcon at the bottom of the Baltic Sea. Toxic Fart, thank you very much, brother. Very generous. Thank you for being here as well. Always good to see you here in the morning streams. Pedro Blaze, celebrating 1 month, says, I think the world will be different after 2028, and I have felt that since 2017. I ain't lying. Pedro, I can't say I've felt the same since 2017, but I would say since the last couple of years, I definitely agree with you, bro. 100%. It'll be interesting to see where we're at that point. Richo, $15, says, I reckon you're spot on, brother. We need to chill as a species. If we don't stop chucking bang sticks at each other, I reckon we're going to get left out. Exactly, man. Exactly. Yeah. If we can't stop, and you can scale that up and down, right? You know, yeah, bombs and missiles is one thing, but you could scale it right down to just like being on X, being on Twitter, being on the internet, being in person. If you can't just like get used to the fact that other people are different, they do things differently, sometimes they do things that might bother you, but it's your choice and responsibility how you respond to that. Like once you just take, if you, anything that upsets you in life, anything, even if someone else did it, you can't control other people. Therefore, it's up to you to work out how you handle that. So like literally anything that bothers you in life, you can fix it by looking inward and yourself. And I know that sounds simple, but it's so true. If you just take accountability for everything, even if it's not technically your fault, you can live a better life. It's seriously, this shit is life-changing, but it's simple. Ak75 says, after the recent James scam, I don't trust anything. Well, I think, that's probably not the healthiest way to go about it. There are people out there who are telling the truth. Maybe you should take it as just a lesson in discernment. I think we all could, right? I think we all could. And, like I said, we're going to get to the James stuff in a moment because there are still things about it. And there are a lot of people who still think there's something sus going on. And that's what we'll talk about. That's what we'll talk about. And you know what? I'll just say quickly, because people are probably wondering how I feel. I'm open to the fact that there might be, because there are still things to me that haven't been answered that don't make sense. But just like with UFO disclosure and the age of disclosure, if you fooled me once, fair play. Now you might be telling the truth again. Like there still actually might be something sus going on. But if there's something, if I feel like I've been fooled once, I'm far less inclined to believe you again. Just like, with the people in the Age of Disclosure movie, they've been covering this up since the 40s. And without any sort of like real accountability, now they're suddenly telling the truth. It's hard for me to be like, oh, sure, I'll believe you this time. You know what I mean? I struggle with that. And it doesn't matter who you are. Richo says, just felt an earthquake in Port Stevens. Wow. Well, I hope you're safe, bro. Hopefully it's just a little one. Shout out to everyone out in Port Stevens. I hope you survived. Hope you're watching from under the bed, brother. Toxic Fart says, no Booger Rod James in the Age of Disclosure. I'm shocked. I know, right? They left out the biggest part of recent disclosure. And Act 75 again says, the stuff about looking inward versus blaming the world is very Buddhist, as it's in you that every emotion and thought meditate. Yeah, I agree. I don't really know much about Buddhism, but I do sort of see that probably a lot of the way that I feel about life does align with it. And maybe that's something I can look into when I'm in Bali, because I know there is a lot of that there. A lot of the stuff that I've sort of figured out myself in my own way, I've come to learn is like a Hermetic principle, or it's part of Hermeticism or Buddhism or whatever. Like these are things that are obviously already figured out. Like I haven't figured it out. Well, I did figure it out myself, but I didn't use the same words. Like I just kind of worked this shit out. And then I was like, okay, that actually is better to do this. And then I find out that I was like, oh, that's Hermeticism. So there you go. We can all figure this shit out. You don't even need a book. You just gotta put in the work. A Buddhist monk hit me on the head with a big stick once. You must have been a naughty boy, Jotwa. Naughty boy. And look, just wrapping up Age of Disclosure quickly. I wanted to say this. I got an email just before. I can't remember who sent it to me. It was a very short email anyway. And they said one interesting thing, one positive that I might have missed about the Age of Disclosure was the fact that they admitted that the Holloman Air Force Base landing was real, which is a super significant part of ufology, and that this was a really big revelation. And sure, yeah, okay, you could say that, but and for anyone who doesn't know, actually, here it is. Here's a picture. This is a depiction of the beings that stepped out of the craft. The story is that they looked very Egyptian, that they had big noses. Okay, they had big noses. They had these kind of tight suits on, sort of golden type, not jewelry, but something like that. They looked very like, sort of like royal and Egyptian. And they stepped out of the craft and they met with Air Force officials, right? This is in I believe, the late 50s or early 60s. I'm pretty sure it was 50s. And met with Air Force officials, okay? This is the story. And they admitted this in the Age of Disclosure. But if you've been watching Polarity for a little while, you would know that, you know, we've already had people tell us this.
They knew back then that there were 4 different groups, and one looked like us. They knew the little grays were around. They knew there was one group of grays that were larger, that had large noses, like the ones that apparently landed at Holloman Air Force Base. And Air Force friends of mine told me that that's no joke. That really did happen, and they do have it on film. They knew.
There you go. Our Lord and Savior, Godfather Robert Dean. He told us this in the 90s, okay? So, yeah, shout out to the Age of Disclosure for saying it. But again, they're saying stuff that people who are into this topic already know. They already know. We already know this. Like, and, you know, it's up to you whether you believe Robert Dean or not. Maybe you didn't believe Robert Dean, but now you've heard them say it in the Age of Disclosure and now you believe it. Maybe because it was in a big fancy production movie produced by Dan Farah. Now you believe it. For me, I believe the people who spoke out and said this stuff and literally gained nothing other than being ridiculed, which most of the people in the 80s and the 90s did. They spoke out, or if they didn't get ridiculed, they got deleted, literally. Phil Schneider. So, and there are others too. Wendell Stevens, you know, there are lots of people spoke out about this stuff and have told us this, but you have to dig to find it. And that's what I like to do on this channel. I much prefer looking at the old stuff where no one was making money. No one was selling it for $40 on Amazon after you pay for your Amazon subscription. They were going around doing talks because it was in their heart that they believed that this information should be out there, and they gained nothing. So there you go. That's Robert Dean and the people in the Age of Disclosure telling you that people with big noses run the world. Isn't that crazy? Sorry, I couldn't help myself. All right. Let's They
knew back then that there were 4 different groups, and one looked like us. They knew the little grays were around. They knew there.
Get off, Robert. Get off. You've had your time. All right. Just quickly, before we get into the Baltic Sea stuff as well, we're going to talk about 3i Atlas, because this week, NASA, the grandest and greatest space organization on the entire planet, with the most advanced technology and the greatest telescopes ever known to mankind, went further than any man ever went before, and then decided to delete all of their technology that did that. That NASA took photos of 3i Atlas. Yep. The people who went further than any man who has ever gone before and then thought it would be a good idea to just delete that technology and never do it again have taken out the big guns and decided to settle it by taking a picture of 3i Atlas. In fact, they've got a whole gallery. And, I mean, come on. If this isn't disclosure, if this isn't confirmation for you, okay? If this isn't confirmation, I don't know what is. I mean, it's staring you guys in the face. Come on. It's like, what else do you want? What else do you want from them? Okay? Yes. This is the greatest space organization in the world, people. Thank you. Thank you very much. I mean, like, you can't, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. You will cry. In fact, I probably will cry after this stream anyway. Seriously. Lego art? I'm pretty sure the photos that I've seen that came out before this, that were taken by amateur astronomers, like on sort of, you know, I don't know if backyard telescopes is the right thing, but, you know, we can just say that. Were better than this. Far better than this. So, dude, like, what is this even about? Honestly. What is this about? It just, I don't even know what to say. This looks like the most interesting one, and it's from July. I mean, I don't know, man. It's just sad, isn't it? Like, there's no real other word for it. Like, without getting, like, sort of too upset or frustrated. Like, it's just sad that they do this. I mean, the fact that it's already got this weird, hyped up connotation of it being like an alien ship, an alien mothership, and God, people are so worried about it. People are literally freaking out. People are begging for billions of dollars. And then with the big grand reveal, you know, you get this. And it's just like, bro, what world is this? Is this even it? Soho, Lasco, 3i. Yeah, I think all of these are meant to be 3i Atlas photos. So I can, yeah, Comet, 3i Atlas image gallery. So I can only assume all of these are just different takes on different days, perhaps with different lenses or different telescopes. But it's all 3i Atlas. And it all tells us nothing. It all is a blurry, grainy video that keeps people interested, and it proliferates the mystery, but it doesn't tell us anything. And you could apply that to literally every video that has came out, every leaked video of a Tic Tac or of anything. It has these same characteristics. You know how like, you know how they would often talk about the five observables. The 5 observables, like no signs of propulsion, you know, 0 to whatever instantly, instantaneous acceleration, right? There's the 5 observables. There's also like the 4 or 5 observables of like the typical bullshit. And that is like, does it actually explain anything? No. Is it clear what we're actually looking at in the photo? No. Is there any like context around... Is there any real context around the video? I guess some of them there is, to be fair. Like we get told it's a Hellfire missile. It's a Hellfire missile. Other than that, though, not really. Oh, in some of them we got told where it took place. In others, that's redacted.
Redacted.
Sorry, I was a bit slow on that one, but there we go. Yeah, look, you know, I feel like if you look at those kind of things, if you don't feel like you learn anything, but the mystery just keeps going, I feel like that feels like psyopy to me. I'm sorry. It just kicks the can down the road. But that's just my opinion, okay? We're all entitled to one. You might think I'm a pessimist. You might think I'm bitter or whatever. The second might be true about disclosure in general, because it just feels a bit silly. It feels like we're getting strung along, especially when we get charged $40 on top of our Amazon subscription to learn everything that we already knew. But that's just me. That's just my opinion and how I'm feeling right now. And look, just to kind of wrap up this section about age of disclosure, amplified energy in the universe, and ridiculous blurry pictures that keep coming out, I will say, with everything that's happened this week and everything that's leading up, the move and everything for me, I will say I'm generally a pretty calm person. I always try to stay calm. I don't like to get angry. I don't like drama. I don't like any of that. But I will say, even with everything that's happened, I have stayed calm, because I never, even if I am annoyed, I generally don't get, I don't get amplified. Do you know what I mean? But I will say I've started to notice that, I can feel in my actions and even in my words, I can feel some of that, frustration seeping out. So it's, I can't wait to get to Bali, because I need to touch some grass. I really do. The grass here isn't doing it anymore. I need some Bali grass. I need grass far the fuck away from everyone for a couple of days, I think, to just chill out. I really do think that. Fly Ether, my man, says, peace, love, and blessings to you and your trip, brother. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate you and your support. Loving the clips as well. Paris Diamonds, celebrating 6 months, says, they viewed under the pyramids. Why have they not looked under the Baltic Sea anomaly? It's a great question, Paris, and thank you for the 6 months. Enjoy the golden trim on your badge. Looking great. We're going to get into that in a moment, because this kind of thing, the Baltic Sea anomaly, now this is something that's been around for a while, okay? This isn't new, but obviously Jesse Michels just did a show on it, a great episode, which is linked below. We're going to watch a few clips from that. But to me, this is the thing that we should be, not this specifically, but these kind of things coming from real people who aren't from intelligence agencies, who aren't from the military, who are discovering things and having experiences that are real, and science is looking at them. These are the things that we should really be putting pressure on, not Dennis, but putting pressure on getting into a mainstream, not a $50 documentary. that you can find everything out for free on YouTube anyway. And again, like people have said to me, you profit off this. How is it any different? Look, good chance if you like the person that said that, you don't pay for YouTube Premium, so you're literally getting this for free. Okay, that's the difference. I'm not forcing my people to pay me. You can enjoy my channel completely for free. You might have to watch a couple of ads, but you know, that's life, isn't it? I'm not charging you $40 to watch me and a $10 subscription to get in the door to have the privilege to watch me. Okay, there is a big difference there. And same to Jesse. You can watch his stuff for free. Richo says, I'm super worried that it will go nowhere, bro. I've shown my family and they still think I'm nuts. Damn, bro. There you go, right? I mean, you know, some people can't be convinced. That just is what it is. It's probably going to take a grey to probe them until they wake up. And that might happen. Who knows? Catherine says, hi, Josh. Love your content. Watching from Utah. Wishing you a safe move and can't wait to see more videos from Bali. NASA is all a bunch of bullshit. Thank you very much, Catherine. I can't wait to be in Bali either. And I can't wait to be in Utah next year. As long as they let me in at the border. After this week, they might not. But hopefully they will. And thank you very much. And yeah, NASA, very sus. RockDoc says, okay, so traveling at 2% the speed of light like through our Atlas would take 200 years to get to our closest star system, Alpha Centauri. So an advanced civilization would have to plan ahead by thousands of years. Okay, yeah, that's fair. I mean, I don't know the math and the numbers, but I'll take your word for it, RockDoc. Thank you very much. 8U says, I feel like the disclosure movement is designed to disorientate and confuse. Disclosure would be simple if they wanted to do it honestly. Exactly. Exactly. If you know the truth, just say it, bro. Hey. Just go on YouTube and say it. You'll get lots of views, I bet. Lone Wolf says, one day this channel will collab with Ben from Uncharted X and perhaps Randall Carlson too. I think there's a link between the old and the new. It's the human story we lost in time, the truth we seek. Dude, I would love to do that. I actually, as part of my travels, have considered, like I'm seriously considering, and I think I will, like doing one of his tours, or there are lots of other people that do them, like Matt LaCroix, Luke, oh God, what's his name? I was talking to him about doing one. Luke Cavans. Lots of these guys run tours out at Egypt, in Peru, things like that. And they basically take you on like, you know, the real deal tour, show you proper alternative history and like, you know, talk to you, take you to all the places. That would be awesome. I think like what Ross Coulthard did at the start of the year with like Chris Lato and a bunch of other people. So I'm definitely going to do something like that. And to do something with Ben, a fellow Aussie, would be awesome. So that maybe we should organize that 100%. It costs you 15K though. Fuck Uncharted X tours. Yeah, look, 15K is a lot of money. Maybe perhaps that's a bit outside my budget, but I'm sure maybe towards the end of the year, if things keep going well, we might be able to do something maybe a little bit cheaper than that one. Get your feet wet, Baltic. Thank you very much, Anne. And Melissa, thank you very much for the super chat. Didn't leave a message, but I appreciate you. All right, let's get into this. So, like I said, this is latest Jesse Michels video. Well, about a week ago now, with Dennis Asberg, who has been kind of in the news recently with like a couple of viral TikToks talking about finding some really interesting things. A lot of that was to do with the Baltic Sea anomaly. So this discovery has been known about for a few years now. But I'll be honest, until sort of Dennis Asberg came onto the scene, I hadn't really looked into much about it. And I didn't know a lot about it until Jesse's show. And this stuff, like I said, is wild. And this is where people should be focusing, in my opinion. First of all, it's free. And secondly, it's real people with no ulterior motive other than discovery and the truth. So we've got about probably 15 to 20 minutes worth of clips here from Jesse. But if you enjoy this, I really encourage you to go and check out the full thing. So this is the first one, just kind of talking about what it is that they found.
It was a night time, I think it's 1 or 2 at night. Me and Peter and our friend Floris, we are sitting in front of the screen. And we have the side scan sonar in the waters, and there we see a wreck, and there we see something, and there. And then this thing popping up on the screen. This huge thing. I mean, we're talking about 60 meters in diameter. And it's round, and you have this track at the bottom. So I remember Peter laughing and, oh, Dennis, here's UFO. And I was, what? Then we began really to look at it. And it was so odd. And nobody else have seen anything like that before. Anything like that. And round potholes you can see, of course, mines and things from the Second World War. But in this case, we're talking about a big thing, 60 meters in diameter. So it's 3,000 square meters, round thing in the middle of the ocean.
3,000 square meters.
Yeah.
So huge.
Yeah, it's huge.
Wow.
3,000 square meters. The Abyss, anyone? The Abyss, the documentary The Abyss? Or the story about in 1962 that I covered, the USS Abenaki after they knocked something out of the sky? Bluegill Triple Prime, the divers went down and found something massive under there. Yep. Documentary.
Yeah.
And nobody had ever seen anything like it. And it was round. It was like...
Oh, sorry to do it again. But you know how also in the Age of Disclosure documentary, how they said it's been a CIA tactic to make movies about the truth? So then when people discover the truth and you tell people think you're a lunatic because you watch movies. The Abyss, anyone?
Round,
circular?
Yes, round. And then we have these corridors. You have angles, 90 degrees angles, and so on. So
it looked like a artificial structure, basically.
This looks like that. We went home then, after we had done this with the side scan sonar. And we go deeper into look at this data we have on it. And Peter and I were sitting in front of the computer and measuring, that, okay, what is possible? Can it be that or construction from the military time or from the World War and so on? Cannot be any things like that. And then we talked to friends in the same area as we are in US, Australia, and Europe.
Yes, that was an animation for anyone who didn't catch that. That wasn't real footage.
And show them the pictures, and they said, no, we have never seen anything like that. What have you found? Where did you find this? And no, we don't say anything about that. So then, after 1 week or something, we don't get any help. We decide to go out public with it, because I want to have somebody can say what it is. Because we have experience, of course, when it's come to exploring and shipwrecks, and we have never seen anything, but perhaps somebody have seen something like that. So I talked to a journalist here in Stockholm, Expressen is a big newspaper, and I went there with my laptop and showed them the data, and they were very surprised about that. And then I explained for them the purpose we were out there was we were searching for that and that wreck, and then we found this instead. So they were, oh, wow. And then they're sending up me to the office, and I talked to the manager or chief there. And then I understand that they are interested to go out with this information.
Mm.
And I said, okay, do it. Hopefully we find somebody that can help us with this, because we don't know. We don't know. And we have friends that don't even know about it. So that was the start of something crazy.
There you go. So a lot of people are saying that it looks like the Millennium Falcon, and I have heard that, and you can kind of see that here. And maybe that's another case of documentaries, right? Truth in fiction, perhaps. I have said before that Star Wars there may be a bit of truth in Star Wars, in that the Force, whatever the Force is, might be something akin to the field of consciousness that we can all tap into, that can either take us down like a path of good or bad, but enhance our innate abilities, perhaps. Or as Joshua suggested, perhaps George Lucas just dumped the prop in the ocean because he didn't want to pay the dump fees. That is a logical answer as well. Life imitating art, or the other way around. Who knows? Who actually knows? Magic, 9 months as a member, my man, long-time supporter, says, excited to see more of the Baltic Sea anomaly information. The crew investigating it is being watched closely by military ships. Total coincidence. Of course, bro. Of course. And I made sure we clipped that bit as well, because I think you know, this information is already incredible and fascinating. But when you see that, it's like, you know, that's when you know you're over the target. Quite literally over the target, right? So yeah, we're going to be looking at that. The feds and the military are interested. They're interested in the fact that Dennis is interested. So, you know, there you go. Who's up for a field trip? I'm down. Polarity class field trip to Contact in the desert. Richo, my man, thank you for the super chats. And look, great opportunity to say, I have every intention to be at Contact in the desert next year. And if that is the case, I'll absolutely be organizing a meetup with everyone likely on the weekend, and potentially some limited edition merch that will only be available for people who go to the meetup. We're going to have weirdos in the desert and some kind of cool t-shirt design. I haven't thought that far ahead yet, but that's where the head's at right now. Maggie, celebrating 4 months, says, much love for Suki's holiday and your adventure, Josh. Thanks as always for the content and community. Love and light weirdos. Thank you very much, Maggie. Appreciate all of your support as well. We'll go Suki full screen in just a moment and give her a snack before we get to the next clip. And Richo says, $500 to Josh each for the tour on top of costs. Sounds about right. Yeah, sure. Yeah, that'll do. I'll take that. No worries. Thank you, Richo. And Rambro has gifted a membership. My man, thank you very much, Rambro. Let's get some love in the chat for Rambro, for the new member, and for Suki, because it is her very last show for a little while. For anyone who missed it at the beginning of the show, she is going to a little homestay, which is just like the most incredible little dog vacation place ever. And I'll show you guys a little snippet of that at the end of this clip, and you can go watch the full video afterwards as well. There we go. Look at all that love for our beautiful girl. She's so shiny. She's so shiny. All right, so this is the next clip from Jesse. This is about the weird electronic interference that they experience whenever they go near it. And, you know, how similar does this sound to all the things that we've heard and been told and seen in movies? What a coincidence.
No, it's very, very strange. And not only that, it looks odd and strange. We have been out there a couple of times, and every time we have been out there, we have problems with our equipment.
What just happened to the boat?
By the way, shout out to Jesse. Like, the dude literally flew across the world to go out on the boat, which he said earlier in the documentary, everyone was vomiting. Man, and like the boat's going like this constantly. I've been out on boats like that. I drove 7 hours to go on a great white shark tour. Okay, had to drive 7 hours to get there, and then the boat out was 3 hours to go where you go see the sharks. Didn't see a single shark. Everyone got seasick. I didn't vomit, but I just basically wanted to neck myself the entire time. Everyone else on the boat was vomiting into bags. Looked like an outtake of like Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that. And then 3 hours back home, no sharks, and 7 hour drive back home. Yeah, awesome. And they refunded 50%. Thanks. So shout out to Jesse for doing the work.
You lost it.
You lost GPS?
You were close to
the object?
Yeah.
Oh my God. Like what happened?
The radar showing things that are not there. So one time we are there and the radar is working properly, but then something popping up on the radar. And I remember Peter said to me that, Dennis, look at the screen, and I look, what? Okay, and then I go out and we are alone here, but should be something 150 meters from us. Nothing there. And then another position. Another position.
How big are the objects showing up on the radar?
No, you cannot see how big it is on the radar.
Okay.
But you see something
Some
is there.
object.
Yeah. And then when we have used the ROV, the ROV stops working.
Really?
Yep. And when we have dive on it, the camera stops working, the light stops working.
So there must be some sort of electromagnetic...
Probably. And the GPS function is not working properly either.
Really? So there's maybe magnetic anomalies as well where...
Yeah, that's what I think. Well, every time we are there, even now in June when we were out, we have the same problem.
Equipment malfunction every time.
Yes.
You got to go down in a Faraday cage or something.
Yeah. So that was very strange also that we had these problems. And we were out again now this June and with another ship, Stockholm University's own ship, with their own equipment, not mine equipment.
Yeah.
That's perfect. And it's much better equipment that I have.
Sure.
That's old things.
Yeah.
But so we were out, and I remember I talked to the crew and also Thomas, the captain on board, and mentioned for him.
Can you imagine how good it would be to sail around on a boat up around like the Scandinavian seas with a guy who sounds like this? Like, that is the most Viking roleplay situation ever. I hope the tip of his boat has some beautifully wooden carved lion's head or something like that. And I would request that he keeps speaking the entire time.
All the experience we have out there with all the equipment stopped working and all the stuff, GPS and so on. And then we were quite close, and Thomas said to me, okay, let's start then. We begin with a multi-beam, so we get the 3D image of the object.
Yep.
Perfect weather, good conditions for everything. And then we go over the object, and Thomas said to me, Dennis, we have problems with the...
And the low-cut neck shirt. Yeah, all he's missing is a beard. If he had a beard, he would literally be Ragnar Lothbrok.
GPS function. And I look at him, are you joking with me? No, Dennis, we have problems with it.
With the GPS?
Do you used to have problems with it? Nope.
What happened with the GPS?
It's not working. Lost connection, totally.
Really?
Yep. And then we go over it and go back, and the same thing again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interferes with radio signals,
yeah.
Changes compasses,
yep.
Messes with the subsea drone and rover. So there's some sort of electromagnetic thing going on down there. And you said you know what the color is now. What's the color?
No, Stefan was one of the divers down there, 2012, and he brushed off the sediment of it, and it's dark black.
Okay.
That's interesting. They literally had a diver go down there and touch it, brushed off the sediment, and this thing is dark black. Dark, which is interesting, right? Like black is black. Dark black? I could be reading into that a little bit too much. Perhaps it's just the way he's explaining it. But it does kind of remind me how when Michael Herrera said that he saw that giant ship in Indonesia, in Sumatra, he said it was Vanta black. Yes, Jen. Look, we're tapped in, Jen. We're tapped in. Everyone's tapped in. Of course we are, because we're all weirdos. Everyone in the chat is thinking the exact same thing, because we're all literally connected. Vanta black. Coincidence number 7,816? Or what?
Dark gray, almost black.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So he touched it.
Yeah, of course.
And when he touched it...
he tried to take samples also. Did not manage that either.
Why?
Too hard.
Too hard.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And when he touched it, did he feel anything or notice anything?
That I don't know. No, he did not mention anything about that. But he said it's very odd.
Uh-huh.
And he have never seen anything like that before. And then one thing I remember when he's coming up, he said to me that the temperature usually at that depth is around 4 to 5 degrees Celsius.
Yeah.
Now it's almost zero. That, is not possible.
Interesting.
So almost 0 degrees.
Almost freezing.
So this alarming is in his equipment.
Yeah. So he must have been very cold.
Alltså super, jag har aldrig varit med om någon liknande i temperatur.
Are there any cases of people, is the idea that this thing is like abnormally cold? Are there any cases of that? Because I can't say that's a detail that I can recall from anything else personally, but maybe anyone else in the chat can. Rambro made an interesting comment and said that it would have to be Vanta black to be able to power up the craft and suck in all the energy from the light. Now, then that actually kind of segues us nicely into the next clip, because they are remote viewers and other people have suggested that this thing is a power source, and that that they have filmed plumes of like smoke coming from the ocean right above it. and they have filmed lightning striking directly over where it is as well. And then you've got people suggesting that the pyramids might have been energy devices. You've got people talking about a black pyramid in Alaska, which is a story I would love to cover on the channel. I've always found that one so interesting. But apparently there's a black pyramid underground in Alaska, and this thing is somehow having some kind of effect on consciousness, either like manipulating it or suppressing it or something like that. Basically, they're energy devices, which is super interesting. In relation to the temperature thing, Jen says yes, aneutronic fusion, cold fusion, Baltic Sea cold, who'da thunk it? I mean, I think that they did say that like the temperature in the sea is already 5 degrees, so it is cold, but they're saying for it to be almost 0 directly around the anomaly is interesting. Casey says it's a superconductor. HSA says, wait, are you abandoning your dog, sir? If your IQ is below room temperature, yes, I am. Yeah, I did think about that too, build on sound. With ghost sightings, the temperature drops. I did think about that, and I'm not sure exactly how you could relate that to this, other than the fact that they're both kind of perhaps in the realm of paranormal and have a temperature drop, but it is interesting. Kat says maybe it's full of ghosts. Suki Cam, one ear vigilant, always. She sleeps with one ear open, always. She's a very alert girl. Balloon temperature IQ, yeah. You know, you could make 50 videos trying to explain something to these people, but at the end of the day, you can't teach math to a brick, and that basically is what it is when you're dealing with retarded people. You know, you can't. You basically have to stoop to their level to engage with them, and you know, I just can't really be bothered. So let's segue nicely into the power source clip, because I do think it's something like that. So here we go. This is and interestingly, this is coming from remote viewers as well, so corroborated independently by psychics.
I remember where he said also when he was down with the ROV, this Finnish guy, then he said it looks like a power line. It's something like a power line. We don't have any power lines there. Nothing at that.
It looked like a power line.
No, but with the instrument they're using on the ROV, was something that is putting out energy of some kind.
Wow.
It looks very strange. It might be a cloud of methane. That it's a methane seep from the bottom.
So that's coming from directly above the object, out of the ocean. Like, how is, you know what I mean? Like, how is this? Why aren't we talking about this? Why aren't we talking about this? And this, honestly, is not even the craziest part yet. We haven't even got to the craziest part.
I don't know how close we can go, but we have seen this growing now for a while.
It's lots of things, and even weather phenomena like thunder and lots of things just on the spot.
Really?
Yeah,
that's fascinating.
I forgot lots of things when I'm talking to you, but lots of things have happened out there.
Thunder on the spot.
Yeah.
And like nowhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
And it like the
thunder striking straight over it, lightning striking straight over this thing.
Does the lightning hit the water?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's like a conductor or something.
It's true. It's true.
Oh my God.
We have filmed that also.
You filmed that?
Yeah.
Oh, this is amazing.
Yeah.
This is the most exciting thing ever.
So now
I love Jesse's nerding out. I love it.
all the things together that, you know, you cannot let it go.
No.
You must. That's why I have fight for this for so long time.
I mean, if you just list the anomalies, you have biological material in a Dead Sea.
Yeah.
You have right angle corners.
Yeah.
You have an object that's 180 meters, so it's very big.
Yeah.
You have, it's hard. You see that's detached from the seafloor. You have electromagnetic anomalies that it's causing. Then you have thunder conducting, hitting it.
Yeah.
I think that's extremely, and then you have a team of people who have been diving for decades.
Yeah.
All having tons of data points,
Yeah.
and they've never seen anything
Yeah,
like
exactly.
it. So I think that's very worthy of investigation.
Yeah.
And so some people might be wondering, because you described it as a round object, but it also had right angles, you know, and right angle corners and stuff.
Yeah.
How does that work exactly?
It's not a flat, disc as many perhaps thinks. It's quite
Jesse is Jerry Seinfeld's son. That's crazy, Beth. I can't unsee that now.
rough surface around it.
Okay.
And then you have these corridors and angles. So, and it's not round in the corners. It's rough. It's perhaps it's broken.
Okay.
I have been there for a while.
So the circumference is 180 meters.
Yeah, but if you
roughly.
look at from upside, it's round, but still it's
There's some jagged right angles and stuff.
Yeah.
And right angles in a way where it's not just...
Yeah, you can't unsee that. I wonder if he's ever been told that before. I think it's the hair. It's the hair that's really doing it for sure. Look, I think while we were discussing Jerry Seinfeld and Jesse's potential connection, we may have just missed the detail there, which I think is really interesting. The fact that this anomaly is only 90 meters deep. I'm pretty sure if they didn't just say it there, they do say it at some point, but I think it was there. This thing is only 90 meters. Like, that is not deep, like, at all. I mean, for us, for a human, it's quite deep. But in terms of, like, how deep the ocean actually is, this thing is, like, quite shallow.
A little sliver or whatever. It's like longer right angles that imply artificial construction.
Yes.
Fascinating, man.
Yeah, it is, for sure. Have you seen all the remote viewers have done all the...
Look at this boat. Absolute hellish to be sitting on this. You could just imagine their stomachs are just getting thrown around. Ugh.
Things about the Baltic Sea? Remote
No,
viewers?
have they?
Remote, yeah. Shit, man.
When we were in Sweden, I called Joseph McMonagle and Angela Ford, and they helped us with this retreat.
Okay.
So we should, I don't have reception, right? Or do I?
No, we don't have any connection.
I was gonna say I could easily call them. Well, what did they say? What did the remote viewers say?
Oh, that is constructed, and it's some have said it's made of gold.
Really?
Yeah, it's some kind of energy source.
Really?
Yeah,
For energy source for what?
I don't know.
So which remote viewers say this?
There are lots of it. I can send you the link of.
Oh yeah,
But,
please. I'm gonna write it down.
But the cool thing is also when the Finnish guy, our colleague from Finland, was here, he mentioned, okay, this is man-made. This must be constructed. It's and it looks like it's a high voltage thing. And I just high voltage. So that's like something that put out high voltage, like power.
Who said that?
The Finnish guy.
Whoa.
And I have it on tape also.
That's amazing.
I have it on tape. We have film and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So they're people who were originally skeptical about this thing, came out to take a look at it, and not only were saying that this thing looks man-made, but that it seems like it's some kind of energy source or, energy device in some way. People who, when Dennis first posed his discovery to them, were like dismissive and skeptical of it. Finally got them out there and were like, this shit is man-made and it's some kind of energy device. So there you go. And I believe now, like, this, I think, is starting to actually get some proper attention from actual science now, because Dennis, he explains this in the full podcast, which you should absolutely go and watch, because there's lots of other good stuff in there. But he says, like, he's not a scientist. He's literally an explorer. Like, that's what he's into. he grew up being fascinated by like treasure hunters and things like that. And that's what he does. He just tries to explore and find things. And then when he found something, it was like, okay, how do I get this transferred into actual science? And he talks about how he would, go and speak at conventions and talk to people about it. And scientists would come up to him and be like, hey man, this is really interesting, but like, UFOs and, stuff like that, I can't really touch that. But, I'll keep an eye on what you're doing. Like everyone was like interested, but no one was brave enough to actually put their name to it. And that's why I think that this is why we should be focusing on stuff like this more, because this is what needs support. The people selling $50 Amazon movies don't need our support at all. They're going to be fine. Richo, contact me, bruz. I'll make it happen. My man. Hey, man, you know where to reach me. Email, Instagram, any of that. Absolutely. Melissa, thank you very much, you little freak. Thanks for becoming a member. And Bruce says, this all reminds me of a movie I saw, Aliens. Mate, Bruce, many movies, I'm sure. Because the truth, according to the people in the age of disclosure as well, is littered through fiction. It's a disinformation campaign. And Fly Either says, Farah's Rogan episode is surprisingly informative. I have heard a lot of people say that, actually, so I'll have to check that out. I haven't had the chance yet. What else Rogan did something recently? I can't remember. I thought I wanted to talk about it, but I can't think of it. All right, we got one more clip here. This is honestly what I find to be the most interesting part of this documentary. And this is the fact that, actually, I won't spoil the big part, but I will say this is about how a lot of the times when Dennis and his crew are out looking at this thing, they have filmed military ships that seem to be keeping an eye on him. And it's not playing amazing.
Did you pick up anything in this last trip or detect anything new that was exciting?
Not pick up anything. We have new data.
Okay.
That's what I can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anything about the new data, or it's...
I'm a little careful to go out with the new data now. It looks like it's separated from the bottom. That's what I can say.
Separated from the bottom of the...
Yeah.
That's amazing. So it's not a geological formation.
I don't know.
It sounds like it's not.
I must be a little careful then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's... I don't know.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
Separated from the bottom. So is this thing like hovering? Like, what does that actually, if it's not, does it mean that it is like science has been able to determine that the material or whatever this thing is made of is not the same as the bottom? So is that why it's separated, or is it quite literally hovering? Like you could run your hand under it. You know what I mean? If it's not attached and it's just sitting there, that's absolutely insane. Like, that's just absolutely insane. I mean, either way, what we're learning here, again, I can't say it enough. This is what people should be focusing on when it comes to disclosure and applying support and pressure for people to take it seriously.
And so
it's not hovering. Righto, Brad, did you go down there and check, mate? No. Go on, please. Explain. If you know that it's not hovering, if you could, rather than say that it's not, tell us what it actually is so everyone can learn, because we all want to know. It's just that they've been able to show a distinction between it and the seafloor. Do they say that in this documentary, or did you learn that somewhere else? Because I don't believe, this podcast. I'm just going what was said off in the documentary. In this podcast, because I didn't catch that in this conversation. Let's restart this, because this is where they talk about it, and in case we missed it, let's see.
Pick up anything in this last trip or detect anything new that was exciting?
Not pick up anything. We have new data.
Okay.
That's what I can say.
Okay.
Yeah.
And anything about the new data, or it's...
I'm a little careful to go out with the new data now. It looks like it's separated from the bottom. That's what I can say.
Separated from the bottom of the...
Yeah.
That's amazing. So it's not a geological formation.
I don't know.
It sounds like it's not.
I must be a little careful then.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's... I don't know.
So fascinating.
Yeah.
And so what's the next step after this? It's more testing or?
Yeah, of course, it's lots of things we must do. It's, of course, to go out again and take core samples, not from the object, as I understand it, because that's quite...
I don't know. It seems like they kind of move on there. I guess the terminology is that it's separate. So I guess, yeah, that's kind of up for interpretation, I guess. Is separated like physically, or does it just mean it's different material? I don't know. Brandon said, damn, Josh, you didn't have to flame him that hard. Jesus. Brandon Barker 1137. My bro, come on. You know that nothing here is personal. We have a good time. When you hang around with your friends, actually, you know what? It's probably true that a lot of people don't actually do this, but me and my friends, we rip on each other. I think it's actually an Australian thing, to be honest. In Australia, your friends, if your friends don't give you shit, they're probably not really your friends, okay? It's a sign of friendship. So trust me, if you get roasted here, it means we're on good terms. If I say, hello, sir, nice to meet you, I probably feel really uncomfortable around you and I don't enjoy your presence. Okay, so, you know, it's just how we do things around here. Don't take it personally, brother.
difficult. So, but if we succeed this time to get more data that are very interesting, of course, we must go out again and take core sample. But that equipment is quite expensive.
So core sample...
Take from the object.
From the object.
Yeah.
So this would be like drilling into it.
Yeah,
almost.
and that's not easy.
Sure.
Yeah, and it costs lots of money. So, but I hope it's so interesting that we do a core drilling.
Yeah. Has anybody thought to stick their hand in the hole that's breathing in?
Believe me, yeah, many, and even I.
But you haven't done it?
No, we have not done it. I mean, it's a risk. We don't know.
That's a risk for sure.
But
we should start a GoFundMe to put your hand in the hole. We need to get someone to put their hand in the hole. I will start the GoFundMe. Supercoach says Lewis still came up a little short. I like it. I see what you did there. He certainly did. Yeah, he does. He comes up short quite often, old Lou. Poor fella. And Shigley says good luck on your travels. Thank you very much, Shig. Appreciate you, brother.
As Beatrice and I have talked about, we have talked about that. Perhaps we're going to use the ROV, a smaller ROV.
To go in.
Yeah, we have this big hole, like 2 meters in diameter.
Yeah.
I mean, the ROVs cost lots of money, but perhaps it's worth.
Does the ROV have like night vision? Can it correct for it? Must be dark down there.
No, you don't see anything really. Even if you have you must have a sonar on it.
Okay, so you put the sonar on the ROV.
Yeah, I have a sonar on the ROV, so I see everything around it. Yeah.
And it's a side scan sonar, so you end up with a 2D.
No, it's not a side scan sonar. Side scan sonar is something you have behind your boat or ship.
Okay.
When you try to find anything. Then you have a blue U sonar on the ROV.
Okay.
There you can see a front, like a picture in the front of you.
Okay.
There you have no visibility. There you can see anyway.
Okay.
It's like a radar.
Okay, it's like radar.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you basically get the structural formation.
Yeah, of course. You can see small details also.
But you can't see optical, right? You don't see an image.
No,
right?
depends. If you're lucky, you can see perhaps 30 or 50 centimeters in front of you.
Okay,
but
little
then
bit.
it's difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is fascinating.
Yeah, it is.
So interesting.
Yeah.
When you started to talk to the press about this, even back, years ago.
Yeah.
Why do you think like military or aerospace or, I don't know, anybody didn't want to check it out themselves?
They
like
did.
Authorities. They did. How do you know
they were lurking around in the waters when we were there.
Really?
This is wild. Like, if this isn't confirmation that you're over the target, what is?
Yeah.
How do you know?
I filmed it.
How do you know they were authorities? Were they Swedish authorities?
They were NATO. Or? It's NATO.
NATO.
It were French and German, American, British ships around us.
Really?
Yep. And then also a Swedish coast corvette go quite close to us.
Suddenly we saw in the distance that this must be some kind of Navy ship heading directly on us.
85, 90. Oh, big.
Turned out to be a Navy ship, and actually a Swedish one. And it shouldn't be lurking around in those waters.
Sänk till fart och var snäll och jävlig var han också. Tack ska du ha, den lilla fan.
They're like stalking them. They're just kind of, you know, creeping up on the outskirts and just seeing what they're doing there, literally. Brandon says, Josh, you have to check out Lavender was on... God. You have to check out what Lavender said about Michael Aquino and Jesse's show today. Fascinating stuff. Yes, Brandon. I'm looking forward to that. And Jesse, if on the odd chance that you watch this, for me personally, bro, the 4-hour episodes are killing me. Do a part 1 and part 2, please. The 4 hours, it's tough. It's tough. And I don't want to miss things, but it's hard to do that. But I will do that. And it's Michael Aquino. What a fascinating guy. I've obviously talked about him a lot on the channel a while ago. And I was actually, it's funny you say that because recently I was actually thinking I wouldn't mind just doing like a proper deep dive video or just on just Michael Aquino, nothing else, because that's an interesting guy. So maybe after listening to that, we might get a few little nuggets and we can go down the rabbit hole on Michael Aquino. Thank you, Brandon.
They just stopped and were laying there, and we were going in a search pattern, and they were in our way.
And we called up on the radio and said, we have divers in the water, please move. And they did. But still, they were there.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and then we have airplanes. So almost...
How many did you film?
6, 7 ships.
Wow.
Big ships.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So you think they were there for you? It was not. It's not normal to see them all.
No,
there.
no. It's not normal. I don't know. I mean,
but how many other dives have you done where you're looking for cognac and wine, where you've seen 6 or 7 ships from various different NATO countries?
Not many, I must say. But when we have dive on the submarine, we found 2015. Of course, we have the Navy and the Coast Guard was there and boarding us, and want to investigate what we are doing and so on. And it was a...
So that sounds like a similar thing because it's a national, it's of interest to the government. In this case, the Russian government.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's of interest to NATO and many governments, probably.
Yeah, of course. And then when we were home, I got the call from the Swedish, let's say it's like FBI in Sweden. And they want me there directly. Come over here. We want to talk to you.
Damn, huh? So the military know about it. They don't want to talk about it. And when you go near it, they want to keep an eye on you. Is this thing like an entrance into the inner earth? Like, honestly, what is this thing? It's super fascinating. That's what I can tell you. And I really hope this goes somewhere. I want to know more. But, the water... And it makes sense, right? Because the water is so like, human beings, we don't do well in the water, okay? Not only can we not breathe in it, but we can't really go very far down it without our heads imploding. Like, it's literally the perfect place for something else to be able to survive and live just next to us without us bothering them. So, and, like I said, The Abyss, probably a documentary, not even just my words, but people who investigated the USS Abnaki case said that they believe The Abyss was based on that case. And, Richard Dolan's covered USOs extensively. I think it's pretty clear that, look up. They're in our skies. They're coming from another planet. Yeah. Really good diversion to look this way when it's actually that way. Like, it makes way too much sense. Yes, a lot of people are keen on the Michael Aquino deep dive. Me too. Although I will say, when I was looking into him originally, my eyebrow started to grow into a devil horn, okay? And when I stopped investigating him, the eyebrow stopped. You can see, I was just about to go full Aquino and get the horn, and I stopped and the eyebrow stopped. So never go full Aquino, and I'm worried that if I investigate him again, it'll consume me, and I'll become a Baal-worshipping Temple of Set initiate. I don't know, dude. I don't know. 8U says, giving your mate stick in Australia is like going to a fight gym. It's safe training for the real world. Exactly. Look, I know, and that's another thing. Obviously, as this channel grows, more people are going to come on board, and I feel like every now and then I do have to kind of say this. it's just my humor. I have a dry sense of humor. I obviously love and appreciate every single one of you that are in here. If people make a stupid comment in the chat, sometimes it's funny just to roast you. It's not personal. You can roast me back. I'm not going to take it personally. You know, that's just the way we do things here. I really do like just treat this the same way I would treat hanging out with my friends. Give you a bit of shit, give me a bit of shit, and let's just have fun looking into this weird stuff together. It's not serious. It's nothing serious. Skeezer, welcome, you little freak. Thanks for becoming a member. And TX Bully Mum, you too. That's a beautiful little bully in your picture, you little weirdo. And I think a bully like that would be this little girl's best friend. And you know what? It's probably time for another snack. Come here. So gentle. Good girl. So we're going to watch a little clip of Suki's staycation. I did see a few people in the chat asking where Suki's going and why it's her last show. If you don't know, I'm going on quite a long trip overseas for a while. And she is going to be staying with someone. And there will be Suki updates. There may even be a Suki live stream in our Discord. We might be setting up a little live feed with a camera where anyone can go in and check on her at any time. That is in the works. Don't hold me to it, but we might get something like that going at least. So yes, that's what's happening with her, and she's going pretty soon, and I go pretty soon too. So that's why this is going to be her last show. For a while. She'll be back, don't worry. She'll be back, and there'll be updates. Now, I think let's jump over to the James stuff. The man that everyone loves to hate right now. Now, a lot of people have been saying that... So basically, look, he's made a new video that says showing the tube and how I made it. Now, I haven't seen this, but I would like to see it because I am interested in knowing that. I'm also really interested in knowing how he made the light, okay? Because he hasn't explained that. And that light was absolutely in the room. We know that. And I want to know how he did that. And the only reason, I mean, I want to know just for my own curiosity, but also there are a few things that other people have brought up. And something that I've specifically noticed particularly that doesn't make sense in his story about this all being fake. Now, I do think I'm much more leaning heavily into the camp that like this all definitely was a hoax. And I was going to interview him. We were going to do it on the channel. But then when he uploaded this video here, the milk video called Gotcha, I was kind of like, I don't know, bro. Like that's... You know, if you were just sort of like a internet hoaxer who did something that was like elaborate and you were successful, I would be interested in interviewing you just to kind of, you know, hear your side, why you did it, how you did it, ask you a few questions, and just to be like a fun, lighthearted interview. But given the fact that, you know, he did probably push it too far, I agree with that. And it did upset some people, and that's fair. If you got upset about it, you felt like you got your emotions played with, that's okay. I think he came out and admitted it, and I think, you know, fair play to that. But then doing this video here, which kind of to me felt a little bit like just trolling the people who were upset about this. Yeah, some people can see this and just be like, okay, the dude's a bit of a weirdo, whatever. Other people will be like, okay, now you're taking the piss. So that video made me a bit like, I don't know if I want to do that. But I want to just see what he has to say about this, and we'll go from there. He likes the attention, maybe? I think so. I think there is a big element of that to this as well, and I think that's clear in that milk video. But I also think... Like, so he explained how he made that picture, right? The picture that we showed of the tube, the very first one where he allegedly saw it flying. His explanation doesn't make sense. It straight up doesn't, and I'll talk about that.
Alright guys, I see you've all been waiting for the live today. It's going to be the biggest reveal yet. A lot of you are wondering, because I don't have the... I was saying I didn't have the tube, I was kidding. I do have it. I do have the rod here. Let me unplug this phone. Get the cord out of the way. I'm going to go through some things, ask some questions, answer any questions you guys have. Here's the tube I have right here. So now you can see I still have it.
Okay, a lot of people have been saying this, and I wanted to wait until I saw it myself. And again, this is kind of why I wanted to watch it. But this does not look like the same tube. I'm sorry. I don't want to propagate this. I really don't. But as always, I'll just say what I think. I don't really care what people think of me or if they agree or not. I'll just be honest with how I feel. That does not look like the same tube. I'll press play and I'll pull up a picture of the original.
I'll just answer any questions you guys have, just trying to make sure that all of you know that this was completely fake the whole time, as you can see. See the end of the tube? Yeah. Here's the end of it.
I want to see it closer.
So fake this whole time, don't worry.
I mean, look, let me pull this in. Sorry, this picture is always massive. The finish, I believe that's the correct term to use. The finish looks very different. And I don't mean from Finland. I mean the texture, the coating. They don't look the same. The one on the picture that I've pulled in that's from the original story looks very chrome, very reflective. This looks like what's the word? Like brushed steel.
Any other questions you guys have? I'll also show the light again for you who didn't see it yesterday. This is the flashlight we used for the light. As you can see, that's blue orb looking.
Okay.
Yeah, if I get it, oh yeah, right there.
Okay, yep. That's fair.
How we used it. See, it kind of can look like it.
Hey, that's James. Yep, we can confirm it's the same guy. James, aka Barney Gumble.
It's some type of alien or some orb. I will show you basically how I did it. I took a pipe, which is this main part here, and then I welded around a cap on the edges.
Okay, let me just pull up a photo of the cap, because I mean I can't help but feel like the finish really doesn't line up. But what I do want to look at is like, yeah, the edges, like where it's welded together. And I do think I've got a decent photo of that, perhaps. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. I'll let it keep playing.
And yeah, show the drill mark. There wasn't really a mark. I must have not drilled into it hard enough. Now the same pipe. It's definitely the same pipe. Look at it. There's not anything different.
I mean, it could be the lighting that he's in. Like, he's obviously not in the same room. There's more natural light coming in. This could be having a different effect on the tube itself, on the way that the light hits it.
Some of you guys are very skeptical.
Understandably.
There's the end, guys, if you want to see it clearly.
Bro, hold it closer.
Give you a full 360 around it.
I mean, he's really spinning it quickly, so like we can't actually get a good look at it, to be honest.
This side too.
Bro literally couldn't hold it any further away from the camera. Why is he doing that?
Yeah. I guess that's all we really have today. Why did I choose those markings? Just because it's just a bunch of gibberish, so people draw conclusions.
But it's not. We've seen that it's an actual language. Like, we've seen that.
What was the point? Just to see how gullible people were.
Like, we've seen that. And in a previous live stream of his, he actually talks, like, before this came out as him saying it's not real, he was in a live stream speaking about occult, like, lore and knowledge. Like, he does clearly know about that stuff, which to me at the time made it seem fake, because it's like, oh wait, you do know about occult, like, language and symbols and ancient languages. So for him now to say it's just a bunch of gibberish, that is kind of weird. But, you know, I feel like no matter what he says now, like, lots of this stuff doesn't add up. I will totally agree. But I feel like no matter what he says now, it will always be in my head that you might just be trying to confuse people to continue getting views on your channel, because it keeps people engaged. Again, let's go back to 3i Atlas and the Age of Disclosure and all the Tic Tac videos. What are those, the 3 observables that we talked about? Like, do we actually get a clear answer from this? No. Does it kind of keep you a little bit engaged and hooked in without delivering any answer? Yes. Is it missing sort of context and normal details that would be included with someone who is telling the truth? Yes. Like, I think if it keeps checking those boxes, it's too, like, look, you might be telling the truth, bro, and that's all good, or you might be telling a lie, that's all good. But I think once you know someone has kind of lied to you, you know, I'm not upset about it. Like I said, I don't take it personally, and I don't think anyone should. But we should just be like, let's, you know, I don't care what you say now. I'm always just going to stay a bit more reserved. I think that's just like the boy who cried wolf, right?
And to a social experiment, not to cause any harm.
He is a good entertainer. I'll agree, Smokey.
Yeah,
for sure.
Did I ask for money at any point? No, I did not.
No, you kind of did. I'm pretty sure he did. Well, he sort of did. He said he was going to set up an Ethereum wallet.
People offered me money and I said no, because I did it mainly for the story. On my YouTube channel. Somebody help me? Nobody helped me. Who turned on the light? I was on the whole time. Anyways, now that you see the tube, I'm hoping that you guys can all be satisfied with this, knowing that it is complete and done.
I mean, this thing looks like it really, the finish does look very different. And I'm not sitting here trying to say I think there's something more to this, but I think, like, let's just ignore everything else about this. Like, ignore everything else about this. The finish on those 2 tubes looks very different. Josh, get your shit in line. Yeah, my shit is in line, bro. Yeah, thank you very much for the comment. I think it all is in line, to be honest. If you think that they do look the same, I'd probably say get your shit in line. Because they are, at least in these pictures. Now, I'm open to the idea that it could be the lighting, and it might, but they are completely different. You will see at the end. Okay, we'll make sure we go to the end. That's not the same tube. Bro, just stop. No, I don't think I will, actually. I think I'll just continue doing what I like to do. And if you don't like watching it, bro, there's an X at the top of your screen. In fact, I would encourage you to click it, because one less retard in here would be a great thing.
So, what is this? Oh, thank you for the $3 super chat. Yeah, I could, let me go get my Geiger counter so you know that it is not radioactive. How about that?
Josh, check the chat for the scrubbed video portion. I mean, look, it's very hard to check the chat when it's moving this quickly. If I've missed it, I've missed it. But if someone can give me it, I'll keep it. I'll look out for it. Tell me what the go is with that.
Normal radiation levels are going to get to about 30 anywhere in somebody's house. you can see it's slowly climbing. I'll take the tube and the readings come from down here.
You know, I do think it could be the lighting in this room. There's obviously a lot of natural light in here, and that could be making it look different.
That's where it gets its stuff, so you can see it's not really climbing any higher. Yeah, we're at only 13 CPMs right now. So you can see it is clearly not, it's clearly not radioactive. So,
no, Josh, this is legit matte finish. Again, this story continues to polarize people. He's now in front of a window. I mean, yeah, you can see that there's clearly natural light. Like, you can just tell, not even just on the tube, but like on James, on the background. You can tell there's natural light in here. But yeah, there's people in the chat. It's the same story with this guy. There's people in the chat going, it's clearly fake. And then there's people going, bro, it's a different tube. It is kind of wild how polarizing this is.
I don't know what you guys are talking about, the polish on the tube. There's no polish on this. Knock on it. Hit it with my finger, kind of. Hit the ends of it, yeah. Anyway, I'm glad we all, I can see you all.
Josh, I don't watch you because I want to be told I'm right. Yeah, well, you're definitely in the wrong place if that's what you want, sir. Get out of here.
Are coming to agreement now that this was all a hoax, so I'm just looking forward to the next hoax. I'm going to maybe do something else with the channel, make new hoaxes. Yeah, we're only at 37 CPM, 30 to 40.
I don't know if that will work, James. If you make new hoaxes on this channel, I don't know if that will work. That's just my opinion. Go for it, try, but I feel like people might not fall for it this time. Just a hunch.
Or 50 even is normal for in the house. I think the sun can cause it, so me putting it by the window here might also trigger it. Yeah. Do a magnet test. I don't have a magnet with me right now, sorry.
That's weird. That is weird. And how did he make the magnet stick in the first time? Like, bro, you don't have a magnet on your fridge? Come on, who doesn't have a magnet on their fridge? Felt cute, might hoax later.
I already showed the markings, guys. Anyway. I'm gonna turn this off, it's getting annoying.
Josh, please review the scrubbed portion.
Turn that off.
Where is this?
Show the endings.
Where is the scrubbed portion? Like, that's the only context I have. People keep saying scrubbed portion. I don't know what that is or where I would find it.
I've shown the endings already.
He really doesn't want to get close with the endings. And he's spinning him. You cannot see clearly at all.
All right, but see, even I know you guys, nobody's always going to believe me, so I'll have enough of the haters out there who think that, or not the haters, but the people who are kind of insane and think that the tube is fake, which is not true. This is the same tube I had. You can check. Even the dimensions are all the same. Yeah, I guess I will end the stream there. I will see you guys sometime soon, at some point, so see you guys.
He's doing the old bait and switch.
Offered me money.
Yeah, I don't know. Look, I'll try and find this scrubbed portion. If that's what people want to see, I'm interested to hear about it. And, you know, I know people can't wrap their head around the fact that, like, I'm watching this still, and it's like, why are you still watching it? Because I think it's interesting. Even if it's a hoax, I'm interested in this story. Like, why has he hoaxed it? Why does this tube look a little bit different? Like, I find this interesting. If you don't, like I said, you don't have to be here, okay? I'm not forcing you to be here. And if you don't want to, I would encourage you to leave. I absolutely would. I wouldn't want you to ruin your own day by watching this man in his tube if it upsets you. The internet's a big place. There's probably lots of videos that you'll enjoy somewhere else. Can anyone tell me where I can find this scrubbed part? Because I would like to watch it. How do I share scrubbed portion? Is this like a video? Because to me, scrubbed sounds like it's been deleted or something. Okay, he's just literally updated his picture while we're live. And changed his name to Real James Cylinder. This is also helping us use our discernment. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, we can... I feel like we can all learn from this, to be honest. The interview, the James Cylinder recap, AI James cooks AI chicken. There was more to video. No, there wasn't. That was the end of the video. We watched that whole thing. Is there a link to it? Is it in our Discord somewhere? I'm checking the media section of our Discord. Josh, no offense. I respect that you want the truth and I respect your open mind, but you need to call bullshit. I think I do. Like I said, I'm not trying to say that this guy is telling the truth now. I'm just literally interested in this story and I want to know, like, I want to know a little bit more about it. I'm not trying to tell you that the rod is real. I do think it does look like a different rod in that video, 100%. But I do think that could be due to the lighting. Look, I'll just show you. Look, maybe we can't find this hoax bit, and that's fine. I'll just show you the one thing to me that does not make sense, okay? And that's this. So he told us in his interview that he made this picture by throwing the rod, and that he basically set his phone up, he threw the rod in the background and took a screenshot of the video, and that's the reason why he didn't upload the video, is because that you would have known that it was a hoax. To me, and I'm interested to see what you guys think. In fact, look, I'll put up a poll while we look at this, and you guys can get your votes in. I'll just say, do you still think this is a hoax? Yes, no, or do you still think it's a hoax? Yeah, I think yes or no works. Or we'll put on the fence. There we go. There you go. All right. So he said that he made this by throwing it and just taking a screenshot. Okay. Look at the size, though. Look at the size of the rod and how far those hills are. Like, do you guys think that size lines up? I thought the only way this could be possible would be if it was moving super quick and it was stretching. Because this kind of looks like, I don't know, too big? That's the only thing that I'm unsure of, honestly. So this and the fact that anybody who was investigating this in Discord, luckily not us because I locked mine, got child P spread through their Discord, which is known to be an intelligence tactic. Like, if this is fake, which, I do lean more to it being fake, why are people spreading that stuff? Who has that stuff? First of all, who is the kind of people that have a hold of that stuff? And then who is going out of their way to spread it in a Discord of people investigating a hoax? That's weird to me. That's weird to me. So there's that, the child P thing, and, that I'm a bit like, dude, what the hell is actually going on here? It's kind of weird. But do we still think this is a hoax? 64% say yes, 13% say no, and 23% are on the fence. And I think that is honestly pretty fair. Me personally, I would probably say, like, my own score would be something more like 75% yes, 15% on the fence, and yeah, the remaining would be no. But I think a lot of that just comes down to the fact that he spoke about, wanting to try to keep it going, and the way the videos that he has uploaded subsequently would be the perfect way to do that, where it's like you're kind of admitting it, but now you're putting in this weird, like, unanswered, vague storyline, and it is keeping people hooked in, like it's actually working. So, I think he's doing a good job. If that is what he's trying to do, I think he's doing it well. But for me, I don't think, at least right now, I'll take him up on the interview. Maybe things will change, who knows? But I think right now it's just, I think he's answered most of the questions that we have, and I'm happy to kind of let it go. A while ago, I asked you guys to send in a couple of your dreams, and you guys did. You sent in a lot of dreams, and I haven't had a chance to read all of them yet, but I am going to read 2, okay, to wrap up the stream. So this came from someone having a really strange dream that felt like a memory, or perhaps was even a lost memory. And it was about seeing like eggs and things that look non-human, and like egg craft. And we've got a couple of interesting ones here that I'm going to read as well. Before we do that though, UAP Dingo says, who needs Congress when you've got the hair channel? Absolutely. Thank you very much. Taris gifted 5 memberships. Taris, you truly are goated, brother. Thank you very much for your support. Zapparoo says, great work, Josh. Always fun and interesting. Thank you for saving me and other weirdos from the age of psyops. Another government-controlled release of information lacking any proof from government spokespeople. And again, from Zapparoo with $20, says, I'd rather support you than give Flimsy Farah, Gimli Elizondo, or Roid Rage Bezos any money. Lots of love to Suki. Thank you very much, Zapparoo. Super generous, man. And, I'm glad that there are people who get it. And, this is something that I'm going to have to get used to as well, right? This channel has grown incredibly fast, way faster than I ever imagined it would. I would have been happy with 30,000 subscribers after a year, and we've got over 100. I think with that, with rapid growth comes rapid support and a huge community of amazing people. But unfortunately, the retards grow proportionately with you, okay? And that's something that I think I do a pretty good job of it. But also, like, as you get bigger, so do the idiots. And they're always going to be here. And I try to treat them, with respect. But also, it's hard to not let people know that they're retarded when they speak up. Because at the end of the day, this is like my house, right? This is my house. You guys are all invited. That's how I see it. You come and hang out with me. We talk about the weird stuff. If someone walked into your house and just started flaming you, would you say, oh, thank you, kind sir. Thank you for abusing me in front of 1,000 people? I wouldn't. I would say you can go fuck yourself, get out. And that's what I'll do, because it is my house and it is my channel. So, you're still welcome to come here, and you're welcome to say what you want, but so am I. So don't get upset when you get flamed. That's the only way I see it. I respect everyone until you disrespect me. That's just the way it goes. TX Bully Mum says he barely blinks, which is tripping me out. Yeah, see, people are still stuck on it. Stevie says, I expect him to look like Dylan Borland. I expected him to look kind of the way he did. We actually pulled up a picture that everyone thought was accurate, and, it is kind of similar, to be honest. Similar vibes, for sure. Best soap opera ever, says Kelletrix. And S2K Pirate says, I have the full original live stream with the scrubbed phone calls at the end, uploading to my Google Drive now. Okay. S2K, I'm pretty sure I've seen you in Discord. Drop me the link, and I'll check them out, and maybe we can review them on another show. Toxic Fart says, James looks like Zod from the 1980s Superman 2. Kneel before Zod. I haven't seen it, but I like it. A lot of people were saying he looks like the evil version of me. S2K Pirate, last message tagging you in the media channel. My man, thank you very much. Rob Stewart celebrating 7 months. My brother. Check Members Media on Discord just shared the missing footage of James's shit. All right, okay. We won't do that on this stream, but we'll save that for next time. Yvonne Pandora says, for Suki's last show. Thank you very much, Yvonne. And Terps Lord, you little freak. And Arcades as well. You freak as well. Couple of new members there. Let's get some love in the chat for those guys. And Richo just says, this is just how we do it in Australia. My man, Richo, thank you very much. We're going to get into reading some of your dreams now. But it is Suki's last show for anyone who doesn't know. So let's give this girl a little snacky for being the bestest and the cutest. And for anyone who doesn't know, for anyone who's just joined, I will give you guys an update and show you what's going on with Suki at the end of this one. Okay, let's just sit on this for now because this is where I have the dreams. So about 2 weeks ago now, I asked you guys to send me some of your weird dreams that have stuck out to you. So this is 2 of them. Now I didn't really like vet them. I didn't really pick these. These are just the first ones I grabbed. So yeah, it's not like these are better or anything like that. This is just what I grabbed in a rush to do the show. So here we go. Howdy there. My name is Ben. I go by the Fireball online in case you ever see me in the chat. Not worried about being anonymous or anything. Shout out to the Fireball. When I was young, I had 3 particular dreams. They were extremely vivid. Each dream was in a particular area. It was like a fixed camera angle. I couldn't move my head or my vision, just a single fixed angle, but everything in that fixed angle was moving. Plants, skies, water, everything. The first dream, I can't remember. The second dream, I still remember pretty vividly. It was on a beach overlooking the ocean. I could remember all the plant life around me. The water was moving up on the sand and back down. I could hear the sounds and it felt as if I was there. Unfortunately, the third dream, I'm not able to remember at all. I can't remember when the dreams happened, just that I was younger. They were years apart from each other. However, this was the strange part for me. The first dream came true. At some point years later, I was in the exact same fixed angle spot that I was at in my dreams. The second dream came true as well, again, years later after it, when I would be in that exact spot as the fixed angle. I was slapped with this tremendously overwhelming feeling of deja vu. And in that moment of deja vu, I was reminded of my dream in full detail. This third dream, however, has not come true. I may have had this dream at about 16, and I'm 29 as of typing this. I don't remember what the third dream was, but I'm sure I'll remember when, or if I come to it in reality. And so I've never really been able to grasp what any of this was. I've always just had it sitting in the back of my head, but never paid too much attention to it. But as of recently, getting into all of this conspiracy stuff, it makes me think that perhaps I may have been remote viewing or something along those lines. I don't know. I haven't had any other dreams like that since that last one. I've spoken about this to others, as well as asking others if they have had strange, unexplained phenomenon happen to them, but no one that I've talked to has had any experience like this. So it'd be nice to know if anyone out there has. Love your content, which has me wanting to start streaming and joining in on all of these discussions. But until then, to keep up the good work, I wish you good luck going forward with whatever it is you do. Thank you very much, the Fireball, and shout out to you if you're here right now or watching back a little bit later. You know, I feel like there's going to be a lot of people that can relate to this one, bro. And, you know, honestly, I feel like me too. I can't say, though, that I ever remember the dream specifically. But, man, the feeling of deja vu is just, like, next level. And I get it fairly often, I would say, where you have these moments where it's just like, I know that I've seen this in a dream. Like, I can't say I remember when I had the dream or I remember the dream itself. But when it happens, it's like, I have seen this in a dream. And for me, it's not even it's not even just what you can see. It's the feeling. It's like you remember seeing this, and when you were seeing it, you remember like what you were thinking about at the time, or what you were just about to do, or the things that were sort of on your mind. And it's like you get to that point in reality and you're looking at it, and it's like, all of those things that you were thinking about in the dream kind of come flooding back as well. And it's like you kind of come back to this like alternate version of yourself that you've been in before. I 100 have had that many, many, many times. And I'm sure a lot of you guys in the chat have as well. What is it? I mean, if we are to believe that like remote viewing is real, which I do believe it is, that means that, you know, it probably means that time is not linear. And that it is sort of, you know, like you can sort of traverse it somehow, perhaps in like your astral body or in another dimension or realm. And we probably all do have that ability in us. We're not taught how to use it. We're not even told about it, really. But just like, I feel like just like other times in life, sometimes you do things like accidentally. Like, this is maybe not the best example, but like, you know, she might just one time randomly throw a ball and be like, yo, see if I can hit that 50 meters away. And you just give it one crack and you hit it. And it's like, holy shit, I couldn't recreate that again if I tried 50 times. I think sometimes we just kind of like stumble into these abilities that we have without meaning to. And it's like, oh, I can do that, but I didn't know I could do that. I don't even know how I did that. I could probably get there again if I kept trying and practiced, but like, it's in us. And I think maybe sometimes in our dreams, we might stumble into that realm or that dimension or that ability, not have any idea how to handle it, how to use it. You're just kind of there doing it. And it's like, oh shit, what is this? And then you wake up and you're like, what the hell was that? And then when you get to that point in reality, you're like, God damn, I was like astral traveling or something like that. I really think that's potentially what this could be here. And that is literally just my opinion based on nothing other than like feeling and logic and intuition. So don't take that as truth. I'm not the purveyor of truth. I'm just like to investigate things that I'm interested in. Can't wait for the next James story. Don't say it too loud. You'll upset people. All right, let's go to the next dream. That was the fireball. Shout out to him. Dreams are where we're able to manipulate all situations and matter. Okay, that's definitely taking it to another level. Because if you manipulate something in your dream, does it change in reality? Like if you have a precognitive dream and then you get to that point in reality, if you did something in your dream that changes the situation, does it actually change when you get to it in reality? That's interesting. Maybe. All right, let's go to the next one. This is a big one. This is only half of it. Dear Josh, I felt compelled to write to you about one of my dreams after watching your latest Moment of Contact live stream. Perhaps it can help connect the dots for others if you feel inclined to share it. You may disclose my name and or info too. The dream occurred this year on the night of February 26, 2025. I use the term dream loosely because it felt more like a memory or a real contact experience. I also find it worthwhile to mention that this happened 2 days before the rare 7 planetary alignment on February 28th. Excuse me. Between Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. There was also a new moon on February 27th, which feels very symbolic because women typically ovulate during the new moon, and there were egg-shaped pods in my dream. Is this why wolves all howl at the moon together? Do crystal Reiki healing women all go howl at the moon together at the same time of the month? Okay, so here it is. I was in my living room. It was at night. I glanced outside of my window, as I often do, and to my surprise, I saw a line of white, luminescent, and soft citrine glowing colored eggs cascading very slowly, gently, and quietly, one by one from the night sky. They were landing on the ground by my front door, about 10 feet away from my house. The eggs felt very light and buoyant in density, not like physical matter which can carry a lot of weight or mass, but more like a photonic or crystalline light structure. Orbs of light that were ovular shaped. The glowing light was emanating from within the eggs, and they were the size of a small vehicle. That's the same detail as the first dream that we read. The eggs were descending towards the ground in a very synchronized or organized manner, floating down one by one like they were arriving on an invisible slide shaped exactly like the one you might see at a park or playground. Sketch from my dream diary attached. I haven't actually seen that yet. This sliding line of eggs carried up well into the night sky. My daughter, she's 7 years old, was also in the room with me, so I called her over to have a look. We were not afraid or panicked, but awestruck, very curious and excited. This is when I realized that I could see inside the eggs, and what I saw was that the egg carried one individual being inside of it. Okay, let's just pull this up here and continue. This is when I realized that I could see inside the eggs, and when we just read that. I did feel my heart accelerate in this moment of realization, and I also got the sense that the eggs were more like pods or capsules. I observed that the beings were in some sort of stasis as they descended towards the ground, and that as they arrived closer to the ground, it seemed to trigger a response for them to start to awaken. The beings I encountered had a very pale and translucent skin. I remember I could see what looked like perhaps their veins through the outer exterior layer of their bodies. I would say that they were even pearlescent. I also got the sense that all the beings arriving were from the same soul group or race of extra-dimensional beings, both male and female of all ages. However, the ratio felt disproportionate, more females and a lot of infants. I then made contact with a woman who was enveloped by one of the eggs. The eye contact was instantaneously electrifying. I felt this surge of energy come alive from within the very core of my being. It felt like a ball of energy in my heart which expanded through my chest and traveled throughout my body. I had this sensation like I just knew. I just knew that I knew her. I knew she was communicating with me through her eyes and her presence on a level beyond what my mind could possibly comprehend. And she felt like home or like family. So it's interesting, that part. There is more to go, but obviously there's that element of telepathy, the being inside the egg and traveling there, which, you know, a lot of this really does line up a lot with the first dream that we read. But the first dream was almost like from the other side. Then I woke up. I woke up abruptly in my bed. It was the middle of the night. I felt wide awake, like I wasn't just sleeping. I felt like this encounter just happened in real time in my living room, like I had been transported into my bed to seemingly wake up. This event struck a chord deep inside me and forever changed me. As I recount the story right now, I can feel the same sensations build up within my heart space and chest. Have you ever heard of Chris Bledsoe and how he describes his encounter with the lady? This was the same beautiful, divine, feminine, loving, expansive energy that I felt well up in that moment when I looked into her eyes. Thank you for listening, Josh. Please keep being you and sharing your light. The world is a better place with you in it. Oh, that's very kind. Thank you very much. So that's interesting. That almost feels like a part 2, potentially, in a way, to the last dream that we heard from. And I'm curious if any of that resonates with you guys in the chat. If it rings a bell, you have another memory, let me know. I think what we're going to do now to wrap up the show is 2 things. First of all, I want to say we have the 100K live stream happening on Thursday in Australia, which will be Wednesday night in America. Okay, that's going to be the last stream in this room, the end of an era, the end of a chapter. And it'll probably be a bit of a longer stream. We'll have a bit of fun. We'll play some games, have some prizes, do the normal kind of thing. Just have a bit of a party. Not as big a party as the 1 year, but we'll celebrate for sure. Between now and then, I might do a couple of members-only streams. We might do a bit of GeoGuessr and just hang out like that. So come and join the members club if you want to. There's lots of perks there. It's only $5 a month. You support me doing that as well. We might go live again publicly. We'll see. I don't want to put that pressure on myself because I really do have a lot to do between now and then. And also I do want to try and play some RuneScape because sailing just came out and the seas need to be sailed. Now, I want to give you guys a chance to say your goodbyes to Suki, which I'm going to do in a moment. But it's not forever. So let me just catch up on a couple of super chats quickly though. Richo, I think we did that one. Richo said, this is how we do it. That's right. Terps Lord says, love your work, trying to play, keep on keeping it real. Thank you, brother. And thank you for the 1 month. And Anne McPherson says, I feel like I drop back into my body with a bounce and then I wake up. I mean, I definitely like jump awake sometimes, shock myself awake. I don't know what that is. But I mean, I definitely get that sensation, wake up with like weird vibrations every now and then. Look, for anyone who doesn't know what's going on with Suki, this is my second channel here, Josh Stradamus. It's linked below. I've also got Polarity 2.0, which is like a clips channel as well. I'm going to play just the start of this video to give you guys a little idea on what's going on. And then I'm going to try my best to get Suki in this chair and on the main camera, full screen, for you guys to just send your love to her before she goes. But let's check this out. I don't know how that's going to go, by the way. She might hate it. I think she will.
Come on, this way, this way. Come on. Good girl. Look at that. It's so beautiful here. It's so quiet, so peaceful. She's chasing rabbits, going for swims. This way. What's up here? I want to stay here. I honestly cannot express just like how awesome this place is for her. She's gonna have the best time, and I can already tell just from when she gets here, bouncing around, her energy just goes right up, and I'm just so stoked for her.
So if you want to see the full video about that and me talking about this in a bit more depth there, like I said, Josh Stradamus, it's linked below, and I would really appreciate the support. Like you guys know, she's going there long term, but temporarily she will be back. with me eventually. I just wanted to show you guys where she's staying. But this channel is going to be where I do a lot of my sort of travel and real life stuff while I'm away. So if you guys could support that, that would mean a lot to me. And I would appreciate that support. So now what I'm going to try to do is get Suki in this chair. Okay. So you guys can send her some messages. I think that would be really cute, but I don't know if she's going to get in the chair. I'll try my best. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play the intro one more time. And then when we pop back, Suki's going to be in this chair. So I'm going to try my best. Here we go.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.
Say bye, Suki. Say bye. Say bye to everyone. Yeah. She's got a few snacks left. You know what? We'll finish off this bag. These are just raw kangaroo treats, by the way. And these basically just, it's like beef jerky, but it's just raw kangaroo. Yeah. Look at everyone's messages. Look. She does not care. She just says, give me that snack. Give me that snack, man. I've worked hard for this. I've put my time in. Oh, she's getting up on the desk. Okay. Come on. Good girl. Yeah. Look at all the messages. Look. Good girl. Wait. Yeah. Good girl. Come on. This one. Yeah. Last one. Fight for it. Good girl. Yeah. So there we go. That's that. The best co-host in the business, but it's not forever. Like I said in that video, guys, if you do go and watch it, time goes so quick. I've been doing this thing for a year, and I feel like I only just started. It's gone so quick, and I know that it'll be an absolute blink until we're back together again. And I'm gonna miss her a lot. I will miss her a lot, and I'll make sure any updates I get, you guys get as well. And like I said, if you join our Discord, the link is below. Hopefully there's going to be some kind of live feed set up for her. I don't know if it'll be 24/7 or what, but it would be cool if we just have a channel that's kind of set up in there where people can drop in and can just see what Suki's up to. I mean, I'll be included in that. I'll definitely be in that channel checking that out too. And the Wrath of Khan even says, see you soon, Suki. I hope you enjoy all the big sticks. Yeah, there is a lot of big sticks out there, and I think she is going to have an amazing time. So guys, remember, Thursday, daytime in Australia, Wednesday night in America is the 100K stream. It'll be the end of the era in this room anyway. So we'll be streaming from somewhere else after that. We might be live with the members over the next couple of days, maybe a video. But until then, go and check out the video on the other channel. I got to get busy packing this place up. Be good, be kind, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.
Eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on?
No matter how far you go into the dark, when you flip, you go exactly the same place to the light in our galaxy. Everything. Because everything is in balance. Everything is a polarity.
I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is.